Want to turn your passion for baking into a business, but you're a little terrified by the price tag of a storefront? Well, guess what? You're not alone, and in this video, I'm going to show you a company that's turning this concept into some serious dough, and some important things you may want to consider before starting a cookie food truck business. Now check out this cookie food truck. Looks like any regular run-of-the-mill food truck, but it isn't. This is I Heart Cookies, and I love how they take the food truck model and they created something really interesting. I mean, come on, dinosaurs in a cookie food truck? How cool is that? Now think about this for a minute. They're selling an experience that families drive 30 minutes or more just to be part of, and to get into the exhibit, the whole family has to buy a cookie. Now you may be thinking, Greg, I can't afford frickin' dinosaurs, and why would I even bother with them anyway? My super awesome cookie recipe will get people coming from all over. And you might be right. I've worked with too many people though that had a great recipe, but they didn't give much thought to what made them special. And while attending events and festivals may do just fine for you because, let's face it, there is a built-in audience here. But if you can do something that makes your food truck different, more people are going to seek you out and spend their money with you. And no, you don't need dinosaurs or elaborate setups to run a successful cookie truck, but the point here isn't the spectacle. It's thinking beyond just selling food. Maybe you create a quiet and cozy seating area where people can enjoy eating your cookies. Partner with a local bookstore to create cookie and book pairings for their reading club. Or maybe develop an app where customers earn points towards a special experience, like a cookie making class with you. The real lesson here is in being more than just another food option. Look, there's tons of food trucks that have great recipes already, but when you create experiences or connections that make your business more than just a place to buy cookies, they give customers reasons to seek you out. Moving on, is a cookie food truck a good business? And when I evaluate business opportunities, I have what I call this dream framework. And I'm going to look at durability. So, will this business stand the test of time? Revenue and profitability. How much money can you realistically make with it? The execution complexity. How difficult will this business be to run day to day? The available market. How many potential customers are there? And then maximum growth potential. So how scalable is this business model? And overall, I think the combination of lower startup costs, strong margins, and operational flexibility makes this a somewhat attractive option. Now, I guess provided you like baking, I guess. I gave it a grade of a B-. If you want to see the details of how I scored the cookie food truck business, you should head over to startup101.com. We also have industry reports on hundreds of other business ideas that you may want to check out too. All right, if you're thinking about starting a cookie food truck business, there are a few factors that I recommend considering before jumping in. And while the low startup costs, strong margins, and operational flexibility make this a somewhat attractive business model, success isn't guaranteed without some careful planning. So, based on my experience, here are 5 important elements that tend to influence whether a cookie truck thrives or struggles. 1. Differentiation strategy. I know I covered this earlier, but it bears repeating. Success in the food truck business requires more than just great recipes. I've worked with several people who had amazing food, but they didn't focus on their differentiation and marketing strategy. They thought people would come for their great food. They were wrong. Number 2, startup capital. While a cookie food truck is going to cost a lot less than a bakery storefront, it's still going to probably cost you at least 50 grand by the time it's all said and done to launch. So, you really need to carefully run the numbers. Also, banks tend to be less likely to loan on unproven food trucks than they are in a storefront, as real estate tends to be easier to get funding for. The warning here is don't get ahead of yourself and start buying stuff until you know the money is available, so you don't get stuck halfway into your project without the money to complete it. Number 3, the numbers. Food trucks typically earn better margins than restaurants because of their novelty and lower operating costs, and dessert items in particular tend to be a higher profit margin item than meals. So, listen, a premium cookie might cost, 50 cents to make? But if it sells for $3, you have a $2.50 profit margin per cookie. Those are great profits, right? But let's say a family of 4 comes to your truck. They buy 1 cookie each. That's $10 in profit from a single transaction. Now, let's say your monthly expenses, like the truck payment, supplies, insurance, permits, gas, marketing, your salary, and so on, come out to $10,000 a month. So you'd need to sell about 4,000 cookies or serve about 1,000 families each month just to hit that number. Now, my recommendation here is to carefully calculate your required volume before starting to make sure it's a reasonable number and it's still worth your time. Number 4, seasonal challenges. Something else you need to consider about the numbers is that the potential seasonality impacts of this business, as food trucks are unlikely to have even sales each and every month. For starters, weather significantly impacts a food truck. Rain especially keeps customers away, and extreme heat can too. Cookie and dessert sales also follow some pretty predictable patterns, and while December holiday markets can be tremendously profitable, January and sometimes February usually see pretty dramatic drops as people give up their baked goods and focus on New Year's resolutions and losing a little bit of weight. The trick here is to figure out whether the peak months will cover the slow months and still give you a good profit. And there isn't a foolproof way that you can do this, but putting together some financial projections with some solid reasoning behind your assumptions on the sales fluctuations is a much better way to do things than hoping your idea is going to work. Don't forget, too, that a cookie food truck can also fill in these seasonal gaps by selling online or offering catering. Last is the schedule and lifestyle consideration. Food trucks typically require working when others are off, so holidays, weekends, and evenings are often the busiest times. And while a food truck offers location flexibility, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a flexible lifestyle. So be honest with yourself about whether you're prepared to work when your friends and family are gathering, especially during prime cookie selling seasons like summer festivals and winter holidays. This can be a bigger issue than a lot of people imagine, so just make sure you understand what you're getting yourself into first. Thanks for watching. I hope this overview of starting a cookie food truck business was helpful, but what other questions do you have about starting a cookie food truck? There's so much more to cover, from navigating licensing requirements to finding creative ways to secure that initial startup money, so please let me know in the comments. Also, if you want to learn more about this business or hundreds of other business ideas, please check out startup101.com. We also have lots of resources to help you get your business started right.